Well, a good Friday. Thank you for tuning in to the Gardener's Corner program. My name is Rob Hall. We welcome you in the Gardener's Corner program, a Friday feature here on TV Channel 10, located on Charter Communications Channel 191. Also on WKRX 96.7 FM. And we're back streaming over the internet. Yes, new news from Radio Roxborough. Our streaming service, though I should say the company that was providing our over-the-air streaming service to where people could listen to us by way of the computer or on their smart device, that company went out of business January 1st. But we are pleased to announce that we are back up in streaming as of yesterday, and you can log on to RadioRoxborough.com to listen over your computer, or you can go to TuneIn.com and get your app for your smart device, and that way you can take WKRX with you anywhere you may travel. But the Gardener's Corner program today is brought to you by Our Pride Foods, makers of Our Pride Premium Pimento Cheese Spread and Dip, and T.G. Brooks Company. Should you have the opportunity to stop in and see some of the sponsors or buy their products, please do so, because I know they would appreciate your business. After a couple of weeks hiatus, we are back live in the studio. If you would at this time, I'd like for you to give your attention to the way of the all-seeing, the all-knowing, the big kahuna himself, a man that has been known to have a pair of pruning shears in his automobile and a pair in his pocket, so more or less have pruning shears will travel all the way from the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service, a man that gets up in the morning and greets the day by saying, "Hello, world." If you would, please make some noise and whoop it up for Mr. Carl Cantalupe.
It gets better and better, I'll tell you.
And a good morning
Good
to
morning.
you, my friend.
Good morning, Rob. Good morning.
Just to kind of lay the playing field out a little bit of the last couple of weeks. A week ago today, the reason that the show was pre-recorded was Carl was actually involved with his specialty crop school that he does once a year, and he always invites different speakers to come in and talk about things that they're involved in and kind of maybe providing a livelihood for themselves. And then in some cases it's about people that's doing things to help the communities that they live in.
And we had a good showing this year. I say a good show. The attendance was down quite a bit, but I think the people that were there had a good time, and actually several different things or offshoots have occurred from that school, which I'll will expand about on that as the program unfolds.
We do have a call. We
okay,
sure do.
very good.
Good morning. Thank you for calling the Gardeners Corner program.
Good morning. I have a question about the pre-emergent weed control for the gardens. I mean, for the yard.
The lawn, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is it too late to do that?
No. Pre-emergence herbicides are herbicides that kill the germinating weed seeds, and these are mainly used to control crabgrass and other grasses that are not of the lawn variety that you have. So these are generally put on as granules and then watered in, and you still have plenty of time to get that on. As far as crabgrass is concerned, as long as the temperature, until the temperature reaches about 55 degrees for 3 consecutive days, the crabgrass seed does not germinate. But now with these warm days coming on, I'm sure that soil temperature is going to be there in a hurry if it hasn't already. But the thing to remember when you're putting on pre-emergence granular herbicides, just buy the herbicide product by itself. Do not buy it in combination with fertilizer.
Okay.
These are called weed and feed products.
Okay.
This is not the time to start fertilizing cool season grasses like fescue, especially with a lot of nitrogen, because if you do, you're just asking for trouble. It'll green up the lawn and it'll look like a real dark green color, but the nitrogen goes all into the blade, so you have the greenest lawn in town, but then it creates a very lush and succulent plant that it will not be able to fend for itself when the temperatures become hot and dry in the summer. And then they succumb to brown patch fungus disease. Starts out as a small spot or area in the lawn, and then it quickly spreads. So you don't want to fertilize the lawn with anything right now.
Okay.
Just buy the weed control material by itself.
Okay. I was at Southern States asking for the pre-emergent herbicides, and they didn't even. Whoever waited on me said they didn't even have them, which surprised me. So do I need?
No, just ask for a granular
herbicide. Okay.
granular herbicide that controls crabgrass.
Ma'am, and if you go to T.G. Brooks Company, they have what you're looking for.
Okay. All right. And but even as warm as the temperatures are now in the 70s all week, it's still okay to do it.
It's okay, and because even if crabgrass seed has started to germinate, it's not all germinated at this time.
Okay.
So, and even, if you do make an initial application of pre-emergence crabgrass control, you can go back 8 weeks later and make another application if you want.
Okay.
Then that's perfectly okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
We appreciate your call. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Carl, excellent question she had, and we'll talk about that a little bit more when we actually have another caller.
Okay.
Good morning. Thank you for calling the Gardeners Corner program.
Yeah, I got 2 questions for him. The first one is I heard him talking about the putting no fertilizer and stuff down in the springtime.
Right.
Which I understand, that makes sense. Which I have still done it though. But I put 3400 down, which used to be ammonium nitrate. Just that, they don't have that no more. You have to get the stuff that the government. You know what I'm talking about. You can't get the real ammonium nitrate.
Yeah.
So my question is, if you don't put nothing down in the springtime, what are you doing for your yard to give it that black-green look?
All right, let's talk about what I say. Don't put nothing down. Don't put excessive nitrogen down.
That's what I normally put down in the spring is 3400.
Okay, well, you see, you have other things. Okay, let me ask you this. When was the last time you had a soil test done?
The soil test come back good. I sent it up there to Virginia Tech back in the summer, back in August.
Okay, as long as you have adequate levels of phosphorus and potassium,
right.
And as long as your pH is fine where it should be, between 6.5 to 7.0. There's really no need to add any nitrogen at all until the fall, until, early September.
Right, hope for rain then.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, I was just wondering because my daddy done it for years and years, and I've been doing it too, and the yard really looks black-green, and
Yeah, well,
my
you can...
family's like, my brother-in-law, he's like, well, you don't need to put that stuff down in the springtime. He went to
You can
knows
count
everything.
you can count your
All
luck.
right.
You can count your lucky stars that you don't get brown patch, because if you do, it's going to hit with a vengeance.
Right, okay. Well, I'll just maybe cut back on it. I hadn't had the problem yet, and I cut
Yeah.
back on it a little bit. Maybe
And,
I won't continue not to have it.
A lot of people in the area, and this extends out to. I've got a feeling that a lot of people know about this, especially in the commercial trade. Some may act like if a person's lawn all of a sudden gets brown patch in the summer. Gee, I wonder what that's caused by. Well, I guess you're just going to have to reseed the lawn in the fall. That's what you're going to need to do. And I think this is more commonly out there than what meets the eye. And people don't tell homeowners that, well, you really shouldn't fertilize that much in the spring with nitrogen because you're just predisposing the plant to brown patch. Some of these places that count on reseeding people's lawns in the fall, it's just a natural thing.
Moneymaker, yeah.
So I'm not saying that the majority of people are dishonest out there. I'm not saying that at all. But, for this to be kept a secret as to why more people don't know about brown patch and what aggravates its condition, I think is not right. So that's
I
all I'll
won't hold all
say.
your time. My last question was, I've got to take a tree down in my front yard. It's a maple tree because it's going to fall on the house. Everybody seems to think it's leaning that way.
Yeah.
Is this the time to replant one, or should I wait till the fall?
Well, it depends on where you're getting it from. If you're going to a nursery that has the tree growing in a container, or if it's balled and burlapped, sitting on the ground or mulched in, you can plant that tree anytime.
What if it's one that's coming from the nursery?
That's what I'm saying. If if it's growing in soil in the nurseryman would not dig it up at this time and sell it to you, because
Okay, so if I can buy one, say like at Lowe's or something.
yeah,
If it's in the pot,
if it's
Not
in the
too late.
if it's in the container, you can plant it anytime.
Right. Okay. I didn't know how the hot weather coming up would affect it.
Well, you have to
Gotta
be
do
more
it in the fall.
you have to be more conscious of it, and you've got to be attuned to the plant's needs. You just can't plant it and walk away. You've got to check to make sure that root ball has moisture in it down to several inches deep.
Right. Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure I could cut it now and go ahead and replant it. That was my question.
Cut it. Oh no! And now you're talking about something else. Cutting it.
cut in the maple tree.
Oh!
Yeah,
The
maple
older.
tree, right. I want to make sure I could cut it and cut the one I've got down.
Oh,
and
yes.
replant it now versus waiting until the fall.
Yeah, no, you can cut it down, get rid of it, grind the stump, whatever you want to do, and then go ahead and plant a containerized plant from a nursery, anytime.
Okay. Thank y'all, man. Thank you for your time. Y'all doing a great job.
All right,
Appreciate
thanks,
your call.
thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot.
Yeah, man. Uh-huh.
Carl, the gentleman right there talking about, he had his soil samples and everything done, and he said it came back fine, and I think he said he had this done very recently. The thing about it, for some reason, people like to have the lawn so green they almost look black.
Exactly, yeah.
And, that's all well and good. And I really can't say, and I don't know if Carl could say, if it was, 50 people that went out in the springtime or this time of the year and put a lot of nitrogen on their lawns, we couldn't say how many people would end up getting the brown, patch fungus.
Mm-hmm.
But you're just kind of inviting, that to happen But if you fertilize and put nitrogen and everything on your lawn in the fall time of the year, you are making your lawn a lot more healthy. Lime, you can put it on any time of the year, but you know, I guess everybody likes to try to have the nicest lawn in the neighborhood.
Oh, sure, that's right. It's a
But-
competition, yeah.
And you know, the thing about it is, it may start out real nice, but if it does turn out to where you have the brown patch fungus, and the thing about it is, the brown patch fungus, it goes in spots in your yard.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like every now and again, where maybe just somebody just took grass killer and
Exactly.
sprayed it in spots.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, but you know, you're free to do what you want to, but really and truly, best time of the year to fertilize your lawns is in the fall. Now, I know a lot of people see these fertilizer trucks running up and down the road. They're out putting fertilizer and nitrogen on hay crops, you know, wheat, oats, and things like that. But you want that growth to go in the blade if you're, you know, mowing hay. But in the fall time of the year, when you fertilize and put nitrogen out, it goes into the root system, and it makes the root system strong. And a lot of people, you know, whenever they mow their grass, they pretty much scalp it. And if you are, you know, if you have cool season grasses, you don't want to cut your grass no less than 3 inches tall. Would you say?
That's the. Mm-hmm. That's right. Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, you know, back to the first lady that called about the pre-emergence. You know, we have all kind of people that want to know when's the time of the year to mow the onions to where they won't come back. And, you know, it used to be printed in the almanac when to do so, but the last few years it has not been in there. And I talked to the friendly staff at T.G. Brooks Company several weeks ago, and they said the first Wednesday in March is what they had always been told. But if you've got wild onions growing in your lawn, you know, you're going to have to spray them, you know, to get a for sure kill. Now, Carl, I may be wrong on this. If you put out the pre-emergent herbicide, that does not take care of the existing wild onions growing, does it?
Right. Pre-emergence grass herbicides will not control broadleaf weeds that are already in the lawn, and wild onion you can classify as a broadleaf weed. So products like Speed Zone or Trimec can be applied to broadleaf weeds that are in the lawn now, and it will not. Those products do not harm grasses. There are also granular broadleaf herbicides that you can put down to control broadleaf weeds and wild onions, but they don't work as well as the liquid. If you've got existing weeds in the lawn, the liquid formulations of the herbicide always work the best because they absorb and they go right into the plant and into the roots. If you put a granular herbicide down to control weeds that are already there, water has to activate that herbicide and then take it into the plant. It's a longer process, so you have much faster results with liquid herbicides to control broadleaf weeds that are already in the lawn.
Okay. We need to get a word on for one of our fine supporting sponsors. We'll take a trip out to T.G. Brooks Company. And, you know, if you're needing mulch, or maybe you need pine needle bedding, or anything that you need for the home or garden, they'll have it for you at T.G. Brooks Company. And before you know it, they'll have vegetable garden plants. And they may already have some, like whether it's cabbage or broccoli. I'm not real sure, but you better believe T.G. Brooks Company stays on top of their game. So let's take a trip to Timberlake.
Here is a March 2016 message from T.G. Brooks Company as we head into spring 2016. T.G. Brooks Company in Timberlake reminds everyone that you still have time for a weed-free and healthy lawn by applying pre-emergent weed control, both granular and with slow-release fertilizer. This will provide up to 8 months of weed control on lawn weeds that make your lawn hard to manage. Transform your lackluster lawn into lush and a beautiful landscape. They have plenty of fertilizer, lime, and weed control to get you off to a proper spring start. And so that you can have the prettiest lawn and be the envy of the neighborhood, they have hardwood and dyed mulches by the scoop and pine mulch by the bag. They have all of the most popular lawn and garden chemicals too, like your insecticides, herbicides, and they have plenty of your soils like topsoil, bulk planting soil, potting soil, cow manure, and they have pine needles. They have for sale or rent spreaders, power pluggers, and plenty of tools to do the work, plus nice wheelbarrows, and to further beautify, they have stepping stones and wall stones. Also plenty of friendly advice from years of experience in helping Personians and folks from the surrounding area to beautify their lawns and have healthy gardens. Speaking of gardens, they now have for you in stock broccoli plants, cabbage, lettuce plants, collards, cauliflower. When it comes to your home or property, whether you are a homeowner or the commercial landscaper, T.G. Brooks Company serves all and gives the same quality service and time to everyone. Remember to finish your workday with a delicious hand-cut ribeye steak from T.G. Brooks Company, prepared on your grill, and your family will appreciate not only what you've done to the yard, but what you've prepared for their dinner. Serving homeowners, farming, and construction since 1936. Famous T.G. Brooks Company. Phone anytime, 364-2428.
Here we are back on the Gardener's Corner program, and I had started at the beginning of the show a couple of weeks ago. Carl made a trip to Pennsylvania for a little vacation, and he brought something back with him to North Carolina. He didn't want to.
A cold.
Anyway, he's about to get over it, but anyway, he's had a little bit of cold and sinus congestion and things going on, but we're glad to say that he's doing better. Unfortunately, after he got back to North Carolina, he had to teach the specialty crop school, and then he had to host the fruit tree pruning demonstration that was held in Granville County.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe I shouldn't be laughing, but anyway, maybe this week he can catch a break.
Yeah, I hope so.
But coming up on Saturday, March 19th, he will have a fruit tree pruning demonstration here in Person County. We've got a call waiting,
Okay.
and we'll get that address on in just a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning. Thank you for calling the Gardener's Corner program.
Morning, Rob.
How you doing?
All right.
Happy birthday.
I got some camellia bushes that I want to trim, and I want to know when to do it, and how severely can I cut them.
No, wait until.
I'll hang up the list.
Okay. Thanks for calling in. You wait until they finish blooming, then you can cut them back as severely as you want. But don't do it now, especially if it hasn't bloomed yet. Otherwise, you won't have any flowers. So wait until immediately after they finish blooming, then go ahead and prune it back as extensively as you want.
And happy birthday to the caller that just called in. That was Gary Royster.
Okay.
And we had his name on the birthday show this morning. So happy birthday, Bro Royster, and want to wish you many more. But anyway, the tree pruning demonstration for Roxborough and Person County will be Saturday, March the 19th at 10 a.m., hosted by Mr. Carl Cantalupi, and it's going to be taking place at
The number 1 Summer Place Farm Road in Timberlake, which is off of Flatwoods Road. So again, it's 1 Summer Place Farm Road in Timberlake. 10 o'clock, Saturday the 19th. We'll go from 10 until 12. And the individual has a variety of different kinds of fruit trees. He also has small fruits. And everything is right there in just a location. Everything is planted pretty close together, so you can view a lot of different plants all in a small area. So this will be a good learning experience for a lot of people that want to learn how to prune different kinds of fruit trees and as well as small fruits.
The demonstration will start at 10 and will last approximately 2 hours. Wear, comfortable shoes, and also if you think that you may need a snack or something to drink during that time, you need to bring that with you as well. But yeah, check that out. And
if it rains, wear shoes or boots or something, because it can get muddy after a rain.
So for more information on that, you can call 336-599-1195, 336-599-1195. We are live in the studio today. If you've got a question for Carl, feel free to give us a call, 336-599-0266, 336-599-0266. Carl, I just had someone to send me a text message with a question, and it's an excellent question, and I have noticed this activity in our lawn at home.
Okay.
And the person wants to know how to get rid of moles.
Okay. Moles is an animal. Mole is an animal. It's a solitary creature. And so what they like to do is they like to dig through soil and push up mounds of earth, of soil up on the soil surface in their search for soil insects. Moles are carnivores. They eat insects, earthworms, white grubs, any other insects that inhabit the soil. They are not plant feeders, so they do not harm plants. However, if they are digging through soil and a plant tends to be in its way, like a root, they might do some damage on that as a means just to get away from it. But they don't digest plant parts, and so moles are not problems to plants usually. People they frequent people's lawn to get these insects. So if they make a lot of tunnels, people don't like it because you walk out on your lawn and then you sink down because of the loose soil. So the best way to control moles in the lawn is to use a steel harpoon trap that you can buy at garden supply stores. The other treatment methods that people have read about, various concoctions, poisons, these really have limited effectiveness. The only way you can get them is to buy a harpoon steel trap that you set over a fresh mound of soil, and many people or some people don't like to use the harpoon steel traps because they say they don't work. Usually they don't work because the person has not set the trap properly. And we have an excellent publication at the Extension office called Moles that is free for the asking, that has excellent color, not color, they're actually black and white, excellent illustrations in there, pictures that show you how to set the trap properly. So this is what you really need to read before you actually try to use the traps. Once that's done, you'll be surprised at how effective it is. The person that wrote the publication on moles, he used to be a wildlife specialist at Kansas State University. And I know that the traps work because this person's son made extra money during the summers in Kansas trapping moles for people. So they do work. And another misconception is that people think that because they have all these mazes of tunnels in the lawn, they must have hundreds of moles. No, they don't. It's probably just done damage is done by one mole because they're solitary creatures, and one mole can build an extensive network of tunnels. So get the steel trap. If you want the publication, give us a call at the Extension office, 336-599-1195, and just ask for the publication on moles, and we'll be happy to mail it out to you.
Yeah, Carl, I was going to tell you that one would think that by the number of tunnels that a mold makes in the lawn, that you would be infested with them. And as you have said many, many times, most of the times it's only one mold
Right.
in each lawn. And from what Carl has explained to me about this harpoon trap, you just don't go out and set it. You have to do a little bit of surveying the situation yourself.
That's right.
And one thing, you have to kind of walk out to where the tunnels are at, and you have to make a mental note, and you have to walk on the tunnels to press them back down. And then you try to figure out the frequent path of tunnels that the mole is actually using.
Right.
And after you establish his most heavily traveled tunnel, that is where you set the harpoon trap at.
Exactly.
And when set right, the next time through there, you know,
It does
with
its
any
work.
luck, it's taking care of the problem. But they can be very pesky.
Yeah.
And Carl, one thing I guess, other than the mole harpoon trap, you could make some preventions and do some things to kind of keep the food source of the mole down to where he wouldn't want to frequent your location, correct?
That's true, but some people think that if they control white grubs in their lawn, that is going to get rid of the moles, and that's not true. So they'll just decide to go to other areas, I guess, when the supply of food is exhausted. But for a person that might have a lot of damage from moles in a big field or something, a strawberry grower that I used to work with in Illinois, he had a very simple solution for controlling moles from getting into his strawberries. I guess he didn't like them to tunnel in. So he had a rotavator on the toolbar of his tractor. They're actually a row of several tillers that are mounted on a toolbar on a tractor that can till a wide swath of an area at one time. So he went around the perimeter of a strawberry field and just tilled all the way around it. And so, because he knew the moles were coming in at one side of the field. So once he had that tilled soil on the edges of the field, moles would come through, but then being that the soil was so loose, it would fall back on top of itself. So then they would turn around and actually go out, go
Wow.
back. So,
Well, Carl, on the publication that you can get from the Cooperative Extension Service,
right.
a couple of different ways. They can email it to you. They can send it to you by U.S. mail. Or is it okay if you actually go to the office and request the publication?
Oh, sure, yeah. Uh-huh.
So you can just show up there in person and tell them what publication you would like to have. One nice thing about if you have them to email the publication to you, as long as you have your computer and the same email address, you have access to that publication.
That's
So,
right.
so be sure to check that out. But again, that telephone number to the Person County Cooperative Extension Service office, 336-599-1195, 336-599-1195. Let's get a word on for Our Pride Foods, makers of Our Pride Premium Pimento Cheese Spread and Dip. Whether it's for a meal or a snack, you can't go wrong. It's made locally right here in Roxborough. So let's get more information about that Our Pride Premium Pimento Cheese Spread and Dip.
Our Pride Foods, makers of Our Pride Premium Pimento Cheese Spread and Dip, is made in Roxborough. Whether you're having a family gathering or would just like a snack for yourself, be sure to keep plenty of Our Pride Premium Pimento Cheese Spread and Dip on hand. Goodness grows in North Carolina. Our Pride Foods, makers of Our Pride Premium Pimento Cheese, is available at T.G. Brooks Company, Hurdle Mills Market and Butcher Shop, North Main IGA, Twins Meat Market, Just Save, and Food Line stores. Also, if you're in Uptown Roxborough and get the hankering for some Our Pride Premium Pimento Cheese, you can enjoy it at Cole's Pharmacy and Trish's Espresso. That's Our Pride Foods, makers of Our Pride Premium Pimento Cheese Spread and Dip. Try the jalapeno added for extra flavor. Goodness grows in North Carolina, and Our Pride Foods, makers of Our Pride Premium Pimento Cheese Spread and Dip, is located in Roxborough.
Here we are back on the Gardener's Corner program. We are live in the studio today. 336-599-0266. 336-599-0266. Carl, the weather has been really nice the last few days, and they say a little slight chance of rain over the weekend, and I think a few days next week we may even make it into the 80s. Now, with all that being said, a lot of people may be chomping at the bits,
I
ready
know
to
they are.
get out and start planting in the garden.
Mm-hmm.
But here it is, not even the middle of March just yet. And so we still are over a month away from where we will be 50% chance of being frost-free, pretty much, correct?
That's right. Now, with some vegetables, you can definitely go out and plant right now. With this nice warm weather, the soil is in good shape. It's not excessively wet. You can get a lot of planting done with certain crops, like if you haven't made plantings from seed of English peas, spinach, onion sets. You can certainly get those out now. If you want to cut up potatoes or certified seed potatoes to use for your own potato varieties that you're growing, you can do that as well. Cabbage, cauliflower, and broccoli. If you can get transplants of those, ideal time to get those out in the garden right now. But the things not to plant right now would be the warm season vegetables. Tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, either from seed or plants. Now's not the time to do that. Sweet potato is extremely not tolerant to cool soil temperatures or cool temperatures at all. With sweet potato slips, wait until early May. The same for tomato, pepper, eggplant. For those. So if you plant warm season vegetables in the soil right now, you're really asking for trouble, because you're going to get damage, if not plant death, if it gets down around freezing, because these plants cannot tolerate cold of any kind. So I think a lot of people are going to be seeing this nice warm weather, and they think, wow, no more cold weather. We don't have anything else to worry about. So don't subscribe to that theory, because, again, as Rob said, it's not until April 15th when there's still a 50% chance of frost. And so if you have warm season vegetable plants, it's not until the first week of May that you can be reasonably assured that you're not going to get a frost that takes them out. So just be overly cautious with your plantings now. Cool season vegetables, the ones I mentioned, will do fine, but don't get in the garden with a warm season vegetable plant this time of year.
All right, we've got a caller after we take the call.
Uh-huh.
I want to talk to you about planting potatoes.
Okay.
Good morning. Thank you for calling the Garden and Corner program.
Yes. I'd like to know when is the best time to cut the wild onions in the yard, or am I too late?
Well, ma'am, we had talked about that. We used to get information out of the Old Farmer's Almanac, and it had dates on there that they suggested when to mow the onions. But that information has not been in the almanac the last couple of years. T.G. Brooks Company had conveyed to me that they had always been told the first Wednesday in March was the time to mow the onions in your yard to where they wouldn't grow back. But now that time has passed. Pretty much the only for sure way to take care of it is to get either the chemical
Speed Zone
Speed
Zone
Zone and
or
Trimec.
Trimec.
and spray your lawn. That is the only for sure way. But now if it's any days that are left that you can mow the lawn to keep the onions from coming back, I'm not sure when those days are.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good day. Carl, let's talk about planting potatoes.
Okay.
Okay. Irish potatoes, you actually plant part of the potato.
That's correct.
Sweet potatoes, you actually plant the sweet potato, and plants grow from the sweet potato, and then you draw those plants or pull those plants, and you replant them for sweet potatoes, correct?
That's right.
Okay. Now, if someone wants to plant Irish potatoes, how about just going up to the supermarket and buying a bag of cooking potatoes? Can you plant those?
Yeah, and some people do that. But I'm glad you brought that up, Rob, because for those of you that want to start a new crop of potatoes from grocery store bought potatoes, chances are that the potatoes in the grocery store have been treated with a sprout inhibitor when they were still growing out in the field. Growers will spray this on plants that will cause them to act. The chemical acts as a defoliant. It kills off the vegetation, but before it does that, a certain amount of this translocates down into the tuber, and especially if you save these tubers for replanting, they might not sprout. So saving or buying potatoes from the grocery store is not a good idea because of that. Also, you don't know what types of diseases you'll be transporting on those tubers as well. So the best thing to do is to buy your certified, what we call seed potatoes, from areas in the country that they're grown in disease-free soil. So how do we know this? Well, you go to a garden center and you look to see the blue tag that's usually attached. It might be attached to a burlap sack where the seed potatoes are in. This gives you some degree of assurance that these potatoes that arise from planting these seed potato stock will be clean and disease-free. So there's a few states in the country that do grow certified disease-free potato seed planting stock. You just have to inquire and make sure that they actually do have certified seed. This is the type of seed to plant. If you save your own seed and try to plant that, you can probably have good germination. But then again, doing something like that, gives more of a chance of coming down with the disease if you save your own stock, especially if it's infected. So I think it's money well spent to buy certified seed potatoes every year, to put them in the garden, and then you have no worry about most plant pathogens.
Well, Carl, I know you have said in the past that these companies that are in the business for providing certified seed potatoes go to great lengths to ensure that their product is disease free.
That's correct.
And something else Carl has told me, and I've heard this for a great long time. In a lot of the states where they just grow an unbelievable amount of Irish potatoes, what they do when that potato in the ground is mature and ready to be harvested, they go and they spray the fields. And many times they may leave those potatoes in the ground, for a few months until they are ready to harvest them, to send them off to, the packing plants and potato chip companies. So that is why so many times that the potatoes that you get in the supermarket have been, more or less sprayed to try to keep them from sprouting, although I think everybody that has ever had potatoes at home, if you keep them any amount of time in the cupboard, a pantry, or any place, they will sometimes sprout. But to get more life out of your Irish potatoes, store them in your refrigerator. The ones that you buy from the supermarket, if you buy a 10-pound bag of potatoes, and you say, well, it takes me a long time to use a 10-pound bag of potatoes. If you put them in the refrigerator, they would be good in that refrigerator, I'm going to say upwards of 4 to 6 weeks, because Paul had told me that a long time ago. And you know what? We tried it, and it really adds shelf life to your potatoes.
That's right.
To store them in the refrigerator. But now, do not do sweet potatoes that way, because
Right.
sweet potatoes can't handle, the cold air from a refrigerator. So that's just a few things, and also, Carl, when purchasing certified seed potatoes, you have to cut them up into pieces that has an eye for the potato to sprout.
An eye, which is a bud, right?
Okay. Now, is it a good idea to just as soon as you cut your potatoes up to plant, is it a good idea to plant them right then?
Okay, that's a good question, Rob. Normally, after cutting seed potatoes, we let them dry out for a few days to develop a tough healing surface on the surface that you cut. And this is a layer of kind of corky cells that are put down. And what that does, it prevents further moisture loss in that cut seed piece. If you cut them and plant them right away, you're not giving the plant enough time to produce that, I guess it's wound suberin, I think is the name of the material.
Kind of the way to self-heal itself.
Self-heal itself, right. And then, those pieces are more prone to get other fungus diseases. So, excuse me, go ahead and cut them. Let them air dry for a few days so that they cork over or heal. Then you go ahead and plant those seed pieces.
Should seed potatoes be planted in a bed, or should they be planted on a flat surface?
Well, it depends on your soil. If you have heavier soil, it'd probably be beneficial to mound them up and plant them on a raised bed. If you have a sandy soil, probably best plant them on the flat, because anything that's planted on the flat will lose moisture. The soil will lose moisture faster. Not as much as if they're in a raised bed. If you bed up a sandy soil, it's really going to lose a lot of moisture fast.
Okay.
So your sandy soil, probably best to plant on the flat.
Okay. Hey, we've got a
Another
call,
call.
and let's get it in.
All right.
Because we hadn't got much time left. Good morning. Thank you for calling the Gardeners Corner program.
Hey, Rob.
Hey,
How you doing?
good. You?
I want to know about the getting your garden samples, your dirt samples up there to get them checked.
Okay, for the soil samples. Okay, good question. All right, if we'll let you hang up, and Carl will explain the soil sampling process to you. Will that be okay?
Yes, sir. I'll beat you with it.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you want to get your soil analyzed, you can certainly do it now. Take several random samples from, if you're wanting to sample for a vegetable garden, go sample different areas down 6 inches deep, mix all those samples together in a clean pail, and then take out enough of that mixed soil to fill up a small Ziploc bag, bring it into the extension office, either in Granville County or Person County, and we'll analyze it for you. NCDA will analyze it, and then they will email the lab results back to you.
And if you do not have an email address, they can email the information to the Cooperative Extension Service, and you can get your information from them. Although we need to make mention that it is a $4 fee per sample that's in effect until the end of March. April 1st, the soil sampling becomes free.
Right.
And it will remain free up until Thanksgiving. So it's a $4 charge per sample between Thanksgiving and the end of March. So go ahead, get your soil samples. And if you go ahead and take them now, and if you get them turned in 1st of April, with any luck, you will have your results back in, a couple to 3 weeks.
Yeah, 1 to 2 weeks usually, yeah.
So you should have your results back by mid-April if you wait until April 1st to turn them in. And that's plenty of time for you to do your necessary alignment and fertilizing of your garden areas.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Carl, I think we've got about 1 minute left. Anything you'd like to add in?
With this with this warm weather coming out, don't get excited and think that all the warm, tender plants need to be planted at this time. Certainly not warm season vegetables. Certainly not flowering annuals. Too early. We're going to get more cold weather. Don't let this, you think that this is the end of it before, and you're going to have a nice warm spring, because we will get the colder weather. Cool season vegetables, cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, peas, spinach, these plants are fine to set out right now, or from seed, as far as spinach and garden peas are concerned.
All righty, that'll wrap it up for the Gardeners Corner program, brought to you by Our Pride Foods, makers of Our Pride Premium Pimento Cheese Spread and Dip, and T.G. Brooks Company, in business since 1936 in Timberlake. Thanks goes out to Mr. Carl Cantalupi of the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service. We also appreciate the fellow that gets us on the air, David Bratcher Jr., as we know him by Kilby. And thanks to you all for tuning in. So have a good week. My name is Rob Hall, and again, thanks for tuning in to the Gardeners Corner program.
After a meeting here, Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar said Obama's getting close.
We conveyed a sense of urgency, but careful urgency.
Still, Republicans vow there'll be no hearings on Obama's choice. Mark Smith at the White House.